Hey guys, it's Caroline.
And I'm Brendan.
And we are
the Paranormal Educators.
Today we are here at the Fort East Martello Museum, where it's also home, you can see that right there, to the world's most haunted doll, Robert the Haunted Doll. That doll is the one that inspired the famous one, Chucky, that everyone should know from Child's Play. Also, this is a Civil War fort, so this is very old. It was built by slaves, so it has a lot of sadness here. So hopefully we get some good stuff tonight. See you later.
Who knew that roosters could be in trees?
You guys see that? That is a whole rooster in a tree.
Weird flex. But okay.
Does it ever get like really creepy for you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this place is interesting.
Yeah?
It's interesting. Yeah, I could talk your ear off about it. Like dozens of
For
examples.
sure. What kind of experiences you got?
The first time I was ever in here, I was a guest on the tour that we do like every night. It was a couple weeks after I first moved here. Coincidentally, it was Halloween night. There's a spot outside where somebody fell to their death
Oh my god.
during the construction of the fort back in the 1860s. What I think it's saying is, I asked, where are you from? And I hear like, I'm from Boston. I'm from Boston.
Yeah.
Strange little thing, like seeing things in here.
What kind of things have you seen?
Yeah, like full on, like I've seen like a shadow, like a
gosh,
5 foot,
so
like,
Are you serious?
yeah. And everybody else that comes in here, they always have like the strangest experiences. Like the staff that works here, like during the day, like for the regular museum. Oh my god, it's wild.
Dude, I gotta say, if I worked here and I experienced something, I think I'd quit the next day.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult being in here alone sometimes, but it's not so bad. It's kind of fun, like that anticipation of like being like you're about to be afraid of something. We get like the same name a lot, like over the spirit box and stuff. We get like recurring characters that like pop back up. And like most of them, I think, are Union soldiers. So this place was built in the 1860s. Key West, even though it was in Florida, it was never like controlled by the Confederacy because they already had a couple of forts down here besides this one. So there was already like an army presence. And then when the Civil War broke out, the Union captain down here just decided to like take the island for the Union. There was never any battles here or anything like that. There was never like any type of Civil War conflict on the island. But they built these forts. This one included to like fortify like the Union presence down here. This place was never completed. It was an active fort though from like 1860 through like 65. Then like at the end of the Civil War, like weaponry advanced and these places kind of became like obsolete. But yeah, a lot of people died here, yellow fever soldiers that were here, and this place was also used as like a hospital because it was on like the outskirts of the island. Wow. So people that were like people that were sick on the mainland, they would like push them all the way out.
Yeah. Is there a lot of artists that come down through here? Like.
Yeah, like in Key West, like Key West in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This flashlight.
Oh, weird.
Spirits are interacting.
Oh, that's strange. Yeah. This is where we do like a big part of the ghost tour we do every evening. Oh my god, I haven't been back here yet today. That was up there, fell over. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, that doll. Yeah, we keep it up there. Yeah, it just fell right over.
Oh my.
And we had everything in here, the doll in the bag, and then like we put the K2s and the candles up in front of them.
Yeah.
Ooh. And it's weird. Yeah.
What's with dolls and spirits?
We have people carry a crucifix down this hallway during the tour. Let me show you the video. People that walk down this hallway with crosses on them or like tattoos of it, they get like burned.
Oh my gosh.
This video was
Tell me what happened. The cross heated up on my chest, and I was inside. I told Trish, I said, man, my chest feels like it's burning. I can't see it. Can you take a picture and show me?
Oh my gosh.
God. It blended
That's
him.
crazy.
So we'll see if that happens.
Oh man.
Do you want to carry? Well, we already have one on you.
I'll carry one.
Yeah.
That feels hot in here.
Jeez.
Yeah, nice and creepy, long dark hallway. People get crazy stuff out of here. Yeah, like a lot of good intelligent responses. Where are you from? You get like Boston, New York, Philly, like places like where these, like Irish or German soldiers live. Yeah.
They're all from the Union. They're all from the North.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's insane. And this is the only part, really the only part of the South that supported the Union, isn't it?
Yeah, that was all because of that Union captain that just decided to do it. And this was like, there were slaves on this island.
Mm-hmm.
Slaves were probably used in the construction of this place. It was probably like a really, bad situation for him.
Yeah.
Can't imagine it being good.
What's up with the voodoo curses?
Have you guys ever been to New Orleans?
No.
No.
No. I went for the first time a couple months ago, like right before Christmas. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool place. You guys ever heard of Marie Laveau?
No.
Marie Laveau, she like practiced voodoo. She became like really popular in the New Orleans like voodoo culture. She was born into her father was a plantation owner, her mother was a slave. Then she lived in New Orleans her whole life. They called her the Voodoo Queen. This stone was taken off of her grave that like people go visit pretty often now in New Orleans, kind of like a tourist attraction. People go and they leave like offerings.
Would you say that like some of the stuff in here has like energy with it, brought with it?
Yeah, absolutely. People have a lot happen to them. If anybody wants to touch that, people say that when they put their hand on it, they can like, feel a little something. David had a Santeria priest in here once, and he like held the stone, and the guy's like eyes rolled into the back of his head, and
What?
he had like this
Oh
really
my gosh.
strong, it's like really strong reaction to it.
Should I? I'm good.
Those pieces of glass that are sitting in there, we have those hung up on these columns next to me. There's one still right here. David puts it up there, sort of like, you ever hear like the theory like two mirrors like facing one another?
Oh,
It creates a portal.
portal.
Right
Yeah,
there, right? Yeah.
it's kind of like what we were doing, like stir up activity. When people touch the stone, two of them have fallen off like as soon as they like put their hand on it.
Really?
And they shatter on the floor. Yeah, it's weird. Something about a long hallway, right? It's just like so freaky.
You feel like someone's standing at the end of it watching you, type stuff.
Maybe there is.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully.
Let's go outside. It's nice and hot. Yeah, pretty cool, right? So if they would have completed this, it would have been like 3 stories high. It would have been like this massive structure.
So wait, so this is not completed at all?
No, they stopped. A couple hurricanes halted construction and like presented a bunch of problems. And then yellow fever was really bad down here, and it was just difficult to kind of deal with both.
Yeah, so you just said screw it, we're just gonna...
Yeah,
leave it
and
as
plus,
is.
like as weaponry advanced, like by the 1870s, these were like, like pointless. Yeah, and like they can.
Wasn't it used as like a training place for soldiers in World War I, World War II?
Yeah, this building in the middle, this is called the Citadel. This is where the field hospital was for yellow fever patients, up on the 2nd floor. It's like, it's hard to put into words sometimes, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
You can like literally like feel it around you. Yeah, you'll be able to pick up on that. Pretty cool, right?
It is. You got some of these poster boards. Scared the crap out of me.
Oh yeah, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, that's Colonel Morgan.
Colonel Morgan?
Yeah, down here in this little more. You can get upstairs to the spiral staircase.
Why is it always spiral?
A couple months ago, there was a family like from up in Florida. They came into the tour, and their son, like this little kid, he was like really into like ghost hunting and stuff. And he had like one of like the small audio recorders, and he showed me a video from the Lighthouse where you hear like this whisper, like Osceola. It's like the name of like one of the tribes that was like in that area.
Wow. Look at that view. I'm sure the steel stairs here were always here, right? Since 1800s?
Yeah, they're original.
Fell off from up here?
No, that happened would have been along that wall to the left. When they were like scaffolding and stuff.
Imagine falling down from here. That's a large fall.
Long ways down.
It's at least a broken leg.
Little house down there, that like white little, that used to belong to the Gatto family. The Gattos were cigar rollers in the early 1900s. That was like the industry down here, like fishing and cigar rolling. And that was like their children's like playhouse, and they had it forever. And people have a lot of intense things happening there. Like the children of the Gatto family are associated with the structure.
Wow.
So the Ottos were like a pretty like well-off family. They lived in Old Town, Key West. Their little boy Eugene.
Yeah.
They give him the doll Robert. He becomes like instantly obsessed with it and like,
Wow.
carries it around everywhere. And
I never have done that with a doll ever, ever. Have you? Have you ever had a doll that you just got obsessed with?
No, I had a stuffed animal, but not never like a doll.
You still have that stuffed animal?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I've never had one, ever. Yo, what's up with all the roosters around here?
originally, they probably came from a ship from somewhere.
Yeah. So they're all native.
Now they're kind of like yeah. Now they're all like a local favorite.
So this is where the like medical hospitals and infirmary.
Yeah, there would have been dozens and dozens of people up here at a time.
How many people do you think like died over in this?
Hundreds and hundreds, maybe like thousands. Yeah.
They all gotta be trapped here, or at least some of them.
Yeah, if you were to like be sent up here, you'd be like in pretty rough condition.
Imagine just chilling up here, waiting for your death. At least you got pretty view. Not really, with the wall blocking it. So you really don't have a brick view wall, nothing else.
It's like imagine being up here like in the middle of the summer. Oh my God.
Ooh, that'd be hot.
Like 110 degrees in here? No thanks.
Yeah, brutal.
And during a hurricane too?
Yeah, I recommend like spending like a good bulk of the time like up here.
Yeah.
It's been me, Robert.
Oh man. There he is.
Hey Robert, we're just gonna film you so you get really popular.
Some chairs for you guys.
Oh.
Take a seat.
Alright. They'll be gonna do that later.
So this is Robert. Hello, Robert.
Nice to meet you,
Hi,
Robert.
Robert.
Heard a lot about you. I heard you like to play around with people. Is that true? I swear if I see this doll move, I'm gonna flip out.
You put a ball on top of his case, like headphone.
Yeah.
Or headphone. Tell him if anything happens that he doesn't like to, push the ball. So it's like pretty flat on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Don't tell me you have a video of the
He's
ball.
pushed it down.
Yeah, this is a while ago.
Sorry. Robert, please remove the curse from my family. He's received over 1,000 letters. Did you get that? Did you record that?
What?
Oh my God.
This actually happens like
Very often.
yeah. It's usually it usually happens when like a guest on the tour is speaking, or we like have people read letters. You guys heard that like people send letters to them.
Asking
Yeah.
for forgiveness and
Yeah,
stuff.
would you guys like to read something?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
He's like 3 feet tall.
Respectfully big.
Yeah, respectfully.
When Robert was first brought to the museum, he wasn't even on display. They like had him in the back of the store. They would come in, and the cat Fred like lived here. He was like the museum cat, and they would come in every morning, and the cat would be like at Robert's feet, like looking up at him,
Oh,
like back in the
man.
storage area.
Now, when the animals start acting up, let's
He sums up.
March 31st, 2010. Dear Robert, I am very sorry for not asking your permission to take your picture while visiting the museum last week. Since I have taken your picture without permission, many strange things have happened to me. While driving back from the Keys, a deer ran out in front of our car. We had to swerve to avoid hitting it and ran off the road. We almost hit a tree. Oh my gosh. 2 days later, we had a small kitchen fire. Also, we've been hearing childlike giggles coming from our basement. Last night, I was home all alone. I heard a voice coming from the basement. When I went to investigate, I tripped and fell down the bottom of 3 stairs. I got up to run out, but the door was locked. My husband said that I probably should turn the lock myself without even thinking about it, and locked myself in the basement, but honestly, Robert, we both know the truth. Please accept my deepest apology for taking your picture without your asking. Also, please accept my daughter's apology for sticking out her tongue at you and making fun of you. See, that's just their fault. George W. Bush. Happy 101st birthday.
The Ottos bought their little boy Eugene, Robert, back in the early 1900s. Eugene was instantly like obsessed with Robert. He'd bring him everywhere he would go. He'd talk to him. He would like sit him up on the windowsill and look at the street with him. And then all these strange things started happening in their home. And Eugene would always blame it on the doll. Robert did it. Robert did it. That's like where that saying comes from. Neighbors would hear things going on. His parents had a bunch of experiences in their house. Then Eugene grew up, he went off to school in France. He came back, he had inherited the house. He left Robert up in the attic, moved back to the United States, came back down to Key West, went back into the home, and as soon as he got there, went right up to the attic, took Robert out, and
like he's drawn to
started all over again. Yeah, the whole process started all over again. Wow. Then he would go up in the attic and he would paint. He was like a brilliant painter.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have Robert like perched up next to him, like looking down at the window, looking down at the street.
There's a grown man we're talking about.
Yeah.
See, my personal fear, dolls.
Oh, really?
I cannot stand dolls, dummies, mannequins. They scare the crap out of me. So right now I'm terrified.
Yeah, like strong feeling in here.
Oh yeah, very strong. Like if it wasn't for his AC, I'd probably be sweating bullets right now.
Eugene died, and then he left the house. So somebody bought the house. Her name was Myrtle. She owned the house, and then she became like the owner of Robert. She had Robert like for years and years. Nothing ever happened. But one night, she said that Robert like locked her in her room, like held the door shut. She came to the museum the next morning, like as soon as they opened, put Robert up on the table, like this is Robert the doll. It used to belong to the Ottos. It was kind of like a Key West legend already, like it was on a smaller scale. Grandpa just went off a little bit.
Oh. Which side is it?
Hey Robert, you here with us? Are you happy that we're here? If you don't like us here right now, please touch the REM pod or push the ball off. That was creepy. It's starting. It's certainly starting. That's fun.
My eyes are like fixated on the ball. I'm always wondering. And so Myrtle dropped Robert off and said that was it. She died like a couple days later. Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Wow.
And then the museum had him in storage for a while. And then like kind of the popularity of like the story grew and now he's kind of like the main attraction here. There's Count von Castle. Story is he's like 19, like 20s, 30s. Count von Castle lives down here in Key West. He's like an early form of like radiologist kind of. He meets this young girl, Elena Hoyos, and when he meets her, she's dying of tuberculosis. She's like 19 like at the time. He tells Elena.
Wow. That's
He wants attention.
insane. Robert, do you want our attention?
That went on for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
It did. I don't think it likes that we're not talking about it anymore.
Elena is dying of tuberculosis. Count von Castle tells her, he's like, I'm a medical professional, like I'm able to treat this. He kind of tells this to her family as well. Ends up like living in the home with them and like treats her tuberculosis for a while.
But he's like in love with her, right?
Yeah, he's like obsessed with her. Like just instantly became like fascinated with this girl. She dies eventually. Count von Castle is like devastated. He makes like shrines of her, like thinks about her all the time. 9 years goes by, and one night Count von Castle just decides to creep in the cemetery.
Hey Robert, we respect you, but we're trying to learn the story of the doctor right now. Thank you.
Creeps into the cemetery and just takes her body out.
Oh,
And then like brings it into his home and like lives there with her.
what kind of creep does that?
Yeah, it's an unreal story. And there's like obviously like a legal battle like between like the family, right? She gets taken away from him. She gets put back in Key West Cemetery. He gets charged with desecration of a grave. It's like the only charge that they were able to like drop on him. And then he like this story becomes like a national like a nationally known like freak story. Everybody, it's kind of like the first time people hear about like Key West actually. Anyway, so he's like publicly humiliated and he goes to like flee the island. And the last day that he's like recorded being on Key West, somebody blows up the new grave that they put her in, like the above ground mausoleum.
Really?
And it's never proven that like it was him, but like he left that day.
It definitely was him.
And it's kind of like it's sort of like he was charged with desecration of a grave.
Yeah.
So then like the last thing he does is like blow the grave up, blow the grave up. Yeah.
That's some petty stuff right there. This man's petty.
We had to piece together like headstone.
But is this the actual?
This is it, yeah.
These are the actual.
Yeah, and that's Elena's up there. Yeah, these are all from the cemetery.
Wow.
Actually, it's Illuminati. With the eye right there.
That is weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that. I don't know what that eye is. I've seen them on other headstones as well. I don't really know what that means.
Maybe it is Illuminati.
All the exhibits in here that don't, for the regular museum are.
As soon as we start walking away, we'll come back for you, Robert.
Oh man, it's like something on something right on. Stuff from the old cigar factories, fishing equipment.
This will get canceled so quick today.
Yeah. This faces the ocean. This is where the cannons were.
Wow.
There's a smaller one at the end of the other hallway. We'll go see. It looks like, you ever been to a haunted mansion? It looks like one of the statues.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the same statues.
Yeah.
Oh, it's even follow, isn't it? His eyes? Where are his eyes go? I noticed
Yeah, these are items. You've heard that Cuban refugees often try to make it to Key West, right? Make a 90-mile trip. Belongings of theirs. We have this old refugee raft. This was recovered in the 60s, 1969.
Wow.
We suspect that a bunch of people died on the crossing.
And that's around when Castro was starting to rise up to power, so they're trying to get out.
We have a lot happen back here. This is actually where I've seen something. It's been the only time I've ever anywhere I've done a ghost hunt or a tour. It's the only time I've seen something. I was down here with 4 other people that were guests on the tour, and we had heard something down here. We heard some noise. We came down, flashlights. Everybody's taking photos of it, and we're all standing around here, all looking at the raft, and then we hear footsteps, loud footsteps behind us, and we turn around in front of this guy. It wasn't like a person. It was like a shape, of 5.5 feet, solid. It's going off again.
Going off again?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really going off too. It's been that was 5 seconds.
It's been consistent too
Yeah.
for the past few minutes.
So we all turn around and there's just this black mass just right here, and we all see it and we're all oh my god, and then it just was gone, just vanished.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't think he liked the piano talk. It's consistently when we leave him too, when we start walking away from him.
All right, we're going in.
It starts.
All right, so this doll apparently fell earlier.
Yeah,
so
this is the
we
doll
are
that fell.
100% leaving Cat Ball and then coming back to check on it. All right, we're gonna line this hall with different cat balls.
Yeah, strange feelings in here. Maybe it's all the dolls.
What? Oh.
Oh my
You guys
god.
see that? I didn't know that was in there. Oops.
Imagine being here in the middle of the summer with no AC at all.
Should we do on speaker for this? Oh, cat ball.
The cat ball is going off. The cat ball is going off. All right, so basically,
Cat ball.
something's telling us to follow it. If you want us to follow it, touch another cat ball down the hallway.
Oh, same
Oh
one.
my god.
Same one.
Are you Robert?
Oh, it went off again.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
So now we're gonna put on the EVP, see if we get anything. You guys will hear what we hear.
Again.
It's going off again. That one's repeatedly going off. The recorder's
Acting up. Oh my god, again.
again.
I think we need to go over there and do a spirit box or something.
All right. Is there anyone with us right now? Are you the one that's making the cat ball go off? Yeah, maybe you're right. We should go over there. I think it wants us to go over there. I just feel like there's something following us right now.
It feels immediately hotter when you get right here. I didn't even touch it.
No one touched that. I'm gonna change it. We changed cat ball, so if you're still here with us, when this stops, make it go off. Just touch it. All you gotta do is touch it. If you're here with us, Touch one of these cat balls. If anyone's with us right now, please give us a sign. So right now we turn on the spirit box, we connect it to the speaker that we brought with us, so we can hear it a little clearer. So if anything wants to communicate with us, this spirit box scans radio frequencies and picks up on any spirit communication. Is there anyone here with us right now? Alright. Oh, that's a lot. Are you Robert? If you're here with us right now, touch this cat ball right here. Alarm our devices. Make them go off. I just heard Robert 2 times. What? I. Keep hearing I. No. Whoa.
What was that?
You heard that? If you don't want us here right now. I said I don't.
I think I heard I don't.
Me and my fiance are both from New York. We support the union. I keep getting eerie feelings like something's going on.
Oh, you know what? It probably is. Look at him.
There it is. Robert, are you with us right now? I'm having such a tough feeling right now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm like just really creeped out.
I feel like I keep feeling things touching my legs.
I feel like you got touching your leg.
Yeah.
You have marks right there. Alright, we're gonna move on if you don't want to communicate with us. Please? Me? You? Well, if you want us to leave, you gotta do something. Alright, well, you're boring us.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Did you do something bad?
Tiptoe.
Are you tiptoeing around us right now?
Hee hee.